got active in total. And when it shows active, it means they're attending a class that they have signed up for, or they have renewed their membership that year. In November, we did have it changed so that when they renew their membership, it goes year to year. So from November 1st to November 1st of 2023, instead of just for the rest of that year. It was just there. It just was not fair in my opinion. And a lot of people would walk out and say, I'm not going to pay $17 for 2 more weeks. Right. Mm-hmm. So it worked out much, much better. The volunteers that are listed on there, the 44, those would be volunteers that are not senior age eligible, just so you're aware of that. But down in the orange, it says there's 2212 active, 3742 complete on the rolls at this time. The 3742 is a high number. We are the largest, most active senior center in all of Utah. I literally called around and asked, how many do you have on your rolls? And I'm pretty diligent about going through there. I go through the obituaries every single day that I'm at work and take care of it, take anyone who has passed away out of our system. Or if somebody lets us know and we missed it. So do you have any questions on that? Okay. This is just in my words, what I feel like our mission is, and I would love it if we all want to work together to word a mission statement. But I just feel like the Orem Senior Friendship Center's mission is to provide social, educational, informational, and physical opportunities for members who are 55 and older that can improve the quality of their life. We seek partnerships with entities that offer solutions, support, and service for the needs of our senior community. So I'm open to anything there so that we have an official one. The next box down on the lower left, that's for the last year, basically June of 21 through May of this year. I just hurried and totaled that up this morning with the paperwork. So in the first column, it says how many new members. That does not account for lifetime members when they come in and renew, update their information, right? It's only new people. So that's something to keep in mind there. And that shows 627, which you can see is far more than the 341 it's showing on there. Meals served. You can see up at the top on June of 21, we served 2,236 meals. That is the last month that we let people take the meal home. Yep. And as soon as that ended, as soon as they couldn't just come in and pick up the meal, the numbers just dropped accordingly. In fact, as soon as we started telling them we really need you to make your donation, again, we had another drop. And so you can see on June of 2021, we served 2,236 meals. The average donation was 80 cents a meal. This did not account for anyone who was sending their donations through the envelope system. And that money was not attributed to our center because they say it's anonymous, right? Even though they have the person's check and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you look all the way down to April of 22, when we had to let the seniors know that the meal program was struggling, that donations ensued. And people started, remember they passed the hat around. We had $356 or something just in that one day of donations beyond what they had already donated in the box. And I think they just didn't realize the importance of it, even though in the newsletter, I'm putting that, hey, our donations were low. Here's what they were for last month. So for this month, they've already dropped again, 25 cents per meal. We did take over the Monday meals, which I have not heard one negative comment, not one with them. I have only heard positive. People have happily made the $5 payment for it. if you'll turn the page, we'll have some information on that. And this is something that we really need to talk about. So we are covered through July because in June, we've already got the meals planned. 30 is going to be doing the first 2 Mondays. Next Monday will be blueberry pancakes with blueberry compote and whipped cream, sausage and scrambled eggs. The next week will be grilled ham and cheese sandwiches that will wreck your upper mouth because they'll be so fresh off the grill. And a tomato cucumber salad and chips. And then we have a Monday off. And then the last Monday, we had Craig is going to be making an enchilada casserole.
It better be good.
Both of these men are retired chefs who have said, we want to help. And I am so, so grateful for them. So, Debbie, I would love to have you say anything of how it's affected you in the kitchen.
I think I've loved it. I think the atmosphere is a little bit better when we're cooking the food ourselves. And I mean, it's kind of nice because we have all this equipment that's never
Some of it has never been used. Our steamer has never been hooked up and used. They're trying to get that worked out. This will be the first time we're using the grill, the big grill. Of course, we've used the ovens, but once Debbie got here and when she and I went in and I said to her, see that big mixer? Should we make bread? When she first showed up here, we've made homemade bread a couple times for the seniors and they have loved it, right? There's just something about walking in and smelling the smell of home cooking that
I mean, it's things we never knew we had. We have a meat chopper.
We've got a slicer. I mean, everything you could think of. And the what?
They're in the garage.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So the first rubric, it shows what we served, how many we served. The AMI is the area median income. So that's the amount of, if they were 80% of it. So basically a family of one, if they brought in less than $34,000 a month, they qualify for, or a year, sorry, they qualify to have a free meal or can make whatever donation they can make, but that we would cover it. So it shows you, and you can see as I start talking to people and saying, hey, I don't mean to offend you, but do you fall under this? Well, yeah. Guess what? We can take care of your Monday meal. And so you can see how that number started changing. That also takes into account the meal for the people in the kitchen who are making that meal happen. The cost of the meals totally, that is everything from the silverware, the napkin, the drink, the plate, everything for that complete meal. You can see what each meal costs. That taco salad one, if we hadn't decided to do the peanut butter bars, I think it would have been a lot cheaper, but still $3.36 and we're charging them $5. You can see at the bottom right, we are in the black, $184.76 after May, which is phenomenal, I think. There is not one person who has not walked away and said, I cannot believe I got all of that for $5. Or given us 10 out of 10. Or, I mean, it's the biggest, the word I hear the most is fresh. This was so fresh. That salad is so pretty. I don't want to eat it. Right. And I have taken pictures of all of this if we need to make a presentation, like pictures of each of the meals, because they look beautiful. We've used great ingredients. It's just been phenomenal. I think you've been here for every meal, haven't you?
No.
No? Who's been here for every meal? Anyone other than me and Deb? Well, they're a 10 out of 10, trust me and Deb. So, as a way of just comparing, I went to the April Monday meals so that I could show you what we served, what the meal was, how many people we served, how many would have, I used the same people that were claiming the AMI because I'm pretty sure they weren't paying for the meal before, right? Or that were in the kitchen so that you got the accurate count. We're asking for a $3 donation with the federal program. We can't tell them they have to pay it. And so that it would have been a $3 average, but the average amount we collected in the month of April per meal was $2.38. That means Mountain Land would be short $94.21 just with our center and just for a Monday, just for Mondays. I don't know what we want to do going forward, what we have. We love doing the Mondays. It actually has been fun, and the volunteers come in and like, okay, what do you need me to do now? And for me, as far as my time, I mean, I would say at the most, I'm spending 2 hours in the kitchen on that day, maybe another 2 hours with shopping, going and back. So maybe 4 hours per meal. I know if we started doing all of our own meals, that we eventually would have to hire someone, but that was just their dedicated. I'm the sous chef, or I'm whatever. I'm the prep person. But also we have volunteers that want to help, that want to do this. An idea I had, and I sent it to Bryce and to Jamie, the city manager, because what we found is there's about 5 city employees that have been joining us for this Monday meal. They come in, they prepay just like we ask everyone else to do. In fact, they prepay a whole month. We're coming for the whole month. Here's our $20, right? They have enjoyed it so much and love that they are helping the senior program. Their lunch time was earlier than what we served. And so we started serving them early. And I've talked to Debbie and said, what do you think about altering, if we could, altering and saying, we're going to serve from 11 o'clock, and even seniors can come in at 11 and eat. We're going to serve from 11 to 12:30, right? Because we don't want to mess that thing up. And be able to advertise it within the city. Every meal that we serve, we're bringing more money in for that bottom line that helps pay for meals for those who can't afford to. I also wrote a CDBG grant. I'll know on the 14th how much I'll be given, but I asked for $15,000. If given that $15,000, that gives me 50 fully paid meals every single week for a year. I'm looking at it and saying, how could we not do it? I mean, yes.
And first off, I could not be more excited about Gina. And I assume some of y'all have heard the timeline of when we found out we had to do some meals, and how quickly Gina and her team jumped in to make sure. And I think we both came away from that initial meeting saying, somehow we're going to get meals to people if Mountain Land is not going to be able to. And so we sort of started from there and built, and this is what Gina did. And so I'm really, I mean, again, the whole team, the volunteers, to be able to sort of mobilize that quickly was really exciting for me, and spoke to the organization and really, the purpose of this commission and our volunteers to continue to provide those services and those social experiences as we move forward. And I'd love to hear from y'all. Our big question is, because I also look at like this next page of all the events we do, and these are what make my heart happiest. And so I think what Gina expressed was we didn't want to lose Gina to becoming this full-time shopper or food preparer. We want to do so many of the other wonderful activities and the classes that we do, and for her to have the bandwidth to be able to do that, we wanted to make sure that the balance of how much time were we spending on the meal long-term, and how much even of our volunteers. I think we had a moment of crisis, and a lot of people stepped up to the plate to say we can get through this. But is that what we want to do long-term? If we're using all of our volunteers on a regular meal program, will we have as many volunteers for some of these other big events that we can ramp up for, or do we all get a little bit burnt out? And so really, I think the conversation that we had, and again, I'd love to hear from y'all, what's the right balance on this? Is it worth it to continue to have the fresher meal with the more open lunch time and some of those things? Or do we feel like it's too tough of a cost? Or should we do it for 3 months and then evaluate every quarter and go back to MAG, and we'll continue to cross our fingers that they remain funded and see how that happens. We'll sort of become dependent on them and their budget and their schedule and the political winds of federal funding for an organization like that. So that was the conversation. If that helps add some context, I think what the team has done has been really exciting. We just want to look and say, is this worth our collective time and energy, or do we go back to just serving mag meals 5 days a week?
Something I did do in the very next day after I knew I got to have a plan, as I went over to Spanish Fork and met with their director and their team. They cook all their meals in-house. They are only offering meals 3 days a week, though. They love it. But they have a staff of 5 people. I don't feel like we have struggled. Do you?
No, not really.
But like I said, if we were doing every day and numbers went up, it would be good to have that additional person. But I think that it could be funded through this eventually as we grew it.
Okay, now, are you just looking at Mondays?
Monday and more if we wanted to.
Yeah, how do you feel about the mix?
I just don't want Debbie to work too hard.
I agree. We don't want anyone working too hard.
Mm-hmm.
We want everyone working and enjoying it and feeling fulfilled, though. And if she and I, we love it when we do our own meals and we're like, oh, should we make this? Should we make that? We both think the same on those things. I love, anyone who has helped in the kitchen. Joyce walks right in. What do I need to do? Right? And Craig too. They understand it. And I think we have a really fantastic team that way. Debbie and I, as we talked about, maybe expanding the serving hours was kind of having 2 sets of volunteers that are, hey, you're going to eat early, or you're going to be the early shift, the 11 to noon, and then you can eat. And then, but the second shift person, you're going to eat early, and then you'll take care of serving for the last part and helping clean up. And we think we have enough people to do that. I also feel like with UVU so close by that we can definitely tap them to get some more volunteers that are specifically here just for that lunch system to put into place. I'm open to it. Debbie's open to it. I would love to hear from y'all. What do you think, Joyce?
I just do whatever I'm told. I love to come in and help.
Right.
And I know there's certain people that do certain things. So you say, okay, is this person doing that? If they're not here, then I just jump in.
Okay.
And fill in whatever I needed. I don't know if UVU has the same program as BYU, but they, in the culinary, we had a company, catering company, and we would actually have them come and work as a youth experience hours and serving. So I don't know
Great
if there's a
program.
program because you
There
probably
is
have
a
to go
culinary
through-
program at UVU.
Okay, and that's Orem. So you might want to check and see if we could.
That's
hire
a
somebody
really
to go
great
and
idea.
teach it.
That's a great idea. Okay. What do you think, Burl?
I'm sorry. That's good, because the staff, you can call on them anytime you want.
Yeah? What about volunteers?
Yeah. Well, staff and volunteers are
yeah.
basically the staff.
All right.
I was just wondering about your AMI, the people that need help.
Mhm.
Have you been able to help all of them?
Those are ones that we've served.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, and I've talked to a few that they were like, yeah, I fall under that, but I'm good, And so some people, will have a little bit off number. It maybe won't add up to exactly a $5 amount when we total for that day, but they donate what they can, and I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Question.
Good.
Yes.
And are any of those people where they're needing help, can they help us?
That's what Debbie and I already talked about, that we want to make sure there's that
If
dignity intact. And so there were a couple that I'm going to go to and say, because I know they are capable of serving, and saying, why don't you let's do a class so you get your food handler's permit and twice a week, we're gonna have you serve. And that takes care of your meals. How great is that?
Yeah.
So,
And you'll pay for the
yeah,
the
and the lunch is
certificate.
paid for. Yeah.
no, the certificate.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
gonna have them
we
covered.
reimburse for it or we'll pay for it if they can't
Mhm.
front it.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Craig?
Back to the volunteers or the internship kids. I was program coordinator for hospitality, which is hotel operations and food operations as well, country clubs. They need to get the hours as well. And they're always scrambling to try to find, most of them would like to work in a hotel, but a lot of the hotels resist it because they don't want to pay them. And a lot of the kids don't want to work because you don't pay them. But there are
We pay them
some,
with a meal.
exactly, there are some that will step up and say, hey, I'm getting experience,
Right.
understand the value there. So
I really feel like being able to advertise it with city employees and inviting them in to our home and sharing that meal with us. Where can you go to get a $5 meal? You can't.
So Gene, on the employee,
Mhm.
are you talking a part-time or you on a full-time?
Any of them. Oh, if I needed another employee,
Yeah, for shopping or whatever that.
part-time, less.
So has that been put in any budget?
No, this is
And
so
that would
new.
only be if it was 5 days a week.
Yeah, that was only
So
if
if
it
we
was
wanted to
5 days a week.
expand,
Okay, so right now you just want to test for a quarter or,
I would love to test it out, but it's bigger than me.
but I think the vision has to be, our budget's coming up approving in
Right.
June. So if we need to add something, you might want to put that in and see what we come up with because at least it's there.
and we'll, I think, pending the CDBG.
Okay.
Because
Right.
that's our nest egg of
Right.
being able to do more of the AMI meals to make sure that we're
Right.
not turning those away. And then as we grow, I think that gives us a lot of annual flexibility. I mean, $50,000 for a year is a substantial amount.
15.
15,000.
Yes,
Okay.
Right.
What was the 50?
$50 or 50 meals. Per
That's what it
week
was.
that we
That's
can
what it
pay.
was.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm mixing up my numbers over here.
So I mean, because I don't think a flex employee is that expensive. I would say we would put it in a budget for the season. You should put it in there. If you don't use it, it's fine, but at least you have the money. You can pull the trigger on, I need somebody now, and let's get them. I think we should add it, because I mean, the city council
Yeah.
will be fine.
Through the summer, when there's kids out of school, maybe there's some high school girls or boys or whatever that want to come clean up, but do some of that kind of stuff like Scotty's doing.
Right. So Scotty is in college. It's
Well,
for
I meant
special
that
needs.
type.
Right. So he's an intern, which means I'm not paying him. They are.
Yeah.
And he's doing a fantastic job, isn't he? We would love to keep him. He is planning on serving a mission at the end of this year. He would be the perfect, well, not the person that would go shop for it, but I'm okay doing that. And if we were doing all 5 meals, we'd have an account with Cisco, and it wouldn't be me running here and running there to get the best price on everything. I would have it delivered. I was picking things up on Saturdays and showing up because the week was too busy. So it would be nice to be able to say, okay, here's our meals coming up. Here's what we can order. But where it's so sporadic right now, we can't even serve milk with the meal because in order to buy just enough that's going to go for that many meals, I don't want to waste the money.
But I think they
So,
I think
they're
they kind of
liking-
enjoy the,
Yeah, we've been
Crystal
doing
Light.
Crystal Light. So, and we're
Something
also trying to
different,
be mindful about heavy carbs, even though that big ziti was heavy carbs. You know what I mean? Everything else we've tried to be mindful and serve a meal that was delicious and looked good and was satisfying and have enough to take home if they wanted to. So, yes.
Is that too, or some people, when they go through life, they're getting more than they want,
Yes.
and they throw it away. So,
I wish they'd just say dinner, and take it
Yeah.
home with them.
yeah,
So-
or else just tell them,
Right.
I don't want that much.
Yeah, don't dish up that much. That's a great idea.
But I think
So-
if you're showing, in May, you're showing a positive $185, you know, that can just keep going. I mean, I don't think it'll fund it, you know, but.
Completely. Well,
but-
once
but
you start adding that up, when you have a big event, like, the events that make me a little bit shaky are like Thanksgiving, but between Thurgy and Craig here, who both have served such large quantities of those kind of meals and feel confident in doing that, it makes me have a little more confidence. Everything at these first 4 meals, Debbie and I took care of ourselves. Made sure, we planned it. And then once we had everything in order, because I had to send that newsletter out like within 3 days of this whole thing. So then I've gone to both of them and said, hey, what are you thinking? What do you want to make? And we're going to be at their mercy. And we heard that they cracked the whip. I wouldn't be opposed to inching our way in. I wouldn't be opposed to jumping all in. In July, we do not have any Mondays that we're here. And our next meeting isn't until August,
3rd, I think.
yeah, it's something like that. or
August 3rd.
Yeah. And a decision would have to be made by mid-July, because that's when I turn my newsletter in.
When are they finishing the building? When you take the building?
It will be closed during that
I know
time when I
when-
turn it in. July
During the week.
11th through the 25th. So I almost feel like we need to make a decision and then plan accordingly.
It's supposed to be picking up.
Oh, yeah. And we're gonna have those days in the park to gather with food pickups. So that we don't just have a bunch of food gathering here that's gonna go bad. We're gonna on Mondays.
And the decision to me, we don't have an annual contract with Mountain Land. We could at
We
any
do, and
time.
it will be coming up to sign for the fiscal year.
Does it require us to say yes or no to Mondays for a full calendar year?
It doesn't.
So we do have that flexibility. If
Right.
we say one thing and something happens, we would be able to at any time
Right.
go
But
to
like
the
we could say,
opposite.
you know what, for the remainder of 2022, we're gonna try doing our own meals and see how it works out for us. Can we have the option starting in January to come back? for
But then in
meals?
September, we thought we were going to do that, but
Yeah.
everyone quits.
Yes.
And we could go back and say, can you bring a meal next Monday?
Right.
So either choice we choose, no one's going to be without a meal on Mondays
Right.
is, I think, the most important thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
What would your vote be?
Continue. I can have taco salad every Monday.
Well, I can't tell you how many people keep saying, can we do the baked potatoes again? Holy cow,
yeah.
do you see how cheap that meal is? Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yes, we can. Yes, please.
yeah, I love that.
They
one.
loved that one. And I have been asking, so I sit on a committee that actually helps plan those meals. And I've been asking for almost 10 years, can we have a potato bar? I think my seniors would like, it'd be so hard. Was that hard? Oh, heck no.
No. Can I ask a dumb question?
Yes.
This 184, does it go towards the budget for the meals? Or does the 184?
Yeah,
go
it
to-
is in the account just for the $5 meals.
Oh, all right.
It does not go to Mountain Land.
Okay.
But you're talking about opening it up to the employees, so that should grow tremendously.
Exponentially.
Right.
Mhm.
So we could end up having a steak one day, right? Just kidding. If it keeps
Um,
adding up. Sorry.
We'll see. But honestly, it is kind of a family thing to do. And Orem talks about being a family. And I just think it would be so great to see the rest of the Orem employees, whoever wanted to be able to come in here, get their
Cause they have
meal.
to pre-order, right?
We've got to
Mhm.
pre-order,
So you
prepay.
know,
Yep.
Mhm.
We can put out the menu, citywide, employee-wide when our newsletter comes out so that they can make their order. It would be great if IT could make it so somehow they could pay for it and order it online so that it would just make it super easy.
Sure.
We're open to tipping.
you can do an app and then in the app, when you pay, you take.
There you go. Yeah, I think it would be great.
Well, I think everybody's in.
I see no issue. So
Move forward.
Mondays, the plan is to move forward with Mondays. And
Well, we've got Mondays in June covered. Do we
Yeah.
want to go further than that?
yeah, I know, I think we can just say we're gonna continue to test out Mondays and we don't have to put an end date to it. And,
Well, you do
Okay.
have the one day, the flamingo days, so we're.
Oh, yeah.
but we
on
do, we've
Flamingo Day,
always done that
We
on our
always
own
let them
anyways.
know, these are the days we're closed for certain things or that we're doing our own meal. So at any time we can say, should we try this Friday and do our own meal? Should we do this? But it's gotta be, like I say, I need to have like 6 weeks notice so that I can make sure I've got enough time to have it in the newsletter and have everything planned out for it. So we want to stick with just Mondays and not grow it. But go ahead and advertise throughout the city employees and see how that grows. And alter our Monday schedule so that we serve from 11. On Mondays, we can go 11 to 1, but maybe it's best to keep it 11 to 12:30.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I think I would, if I, just an opinion, I'm glad for pushback on that one. I would maybe not advertise it to employees. I would want the core focus to remain on our seniors
it
and
always
members here at the
will.
Friendship Center.
But the way to grow that bottom line of funds to continue it
Yeah.
Right now, it's just kind of
would
been
be
in
the
the
best.
maintenance crew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's, I don't think we need to kick someone out, but if we are, I would feel funny if we went to the council and said, can we add this part-time staff? We really need it for our senior programs, when really we needed it to have Public Works come over here. And so I think let's prove it with truly just our senior. And if a maintenance staff shows up, we don't have to kick them out.
right.
But before we go and advertise in the city ditty and to tell everyone to come over, I just want to make sure we're being pretty genuine and focused on just the seniors, and then see what else happens. Again, if they tell some friends, I'm not opposed to it.
We got one that's gonna
You
train
got-
us how
Sure.
to make mobetas.
An IT
Oh, okay.
guy has shown up. I mean, we're like, can I have lunch here?
Right.
Yes, you can. So,
And, none of the seniors have said anything about it. No, I don't think.
as far as,
The
not
only
being
thing I object to is have them eat earlier than us. I want to.
I know, that's why I thought if we said, let's go ahead and serve at 11 and
Yeah,
seniors
but then
can
you
come
get
at
to look
11.
at it.
And you did get a 10 out of 10 scale
Mhm.
before you even ate it. I mean, they're gobbling it up and saying, this is 10 of 10.
Well,
We're
the
like,
problem
please
is,
serve us.
yeah, but the people keep asking, how can they get to eat
Right.
first? That's the
Right.
only thing.
So I think regardless, I think we need to change our Monday serving so that our seniors can be accommodated first.
As
if
long,
that's
as
what they
long as
choose.
it's not too confusing for them to, only on Monday
Right,
instead of all week long,
right.
Because I think some, in the Department of Dementia, Alzheimer's might get a little
Yes.
confused and show up whenever.
I agree. All right. Does anyone want to put anything to a vote? The way you do that is to say, I would
Aye.
like to entertain a vote of,
What time did you say you were going to do this? 11 or
if
what?
we search from 11 to
We
12:30 on Mondays.
What about 11:30 to 12:30?
Well, some of those guys, their lunchtime is 11 o'clock. They're getting here as early as I am.
Yeah.
So they want to, that's their lunch.
I-
So serving,
Well, they could even eat in our cafeteria if they need.
In the break room?
Yeah.
But y'all are in there.
At 11.
Yeah. So, okay, serving from 11 to 12:30. Mondays only. Would anyone like to vote on this?
I'll second it.
Well, let's have someone say, I would like to.
I nominate that we do it from 11 till 12:30 on Mondays.
Okay,
Second.
and Burl seconded it. Okay, so Kathy moved. Burl seconded it. All of those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Okay. We'll review this at our August meeting. I mean, really, it will just be the June numbers and what we've done with that, but feel free to come to me at any time and let me know how you think things are going, if there's something we could do to tweak it to make it even better. Okay. The last page here is our upcoming events for really the rest of the year. I know this will all fill in more, but these are the things as I was just, running through my mind, if this is coming, this will come, this will come. So I did put each Monday meal and any meal that we were cooking ourselves in there. So you'll see those, the dates that were closed. And I did not put on the Mondays while we're closed. So that'll be July 11th and July 25th and July 18th. We will be out at the park with food donations. We're just going to tell them, if you want to bring a sack lunch and sit and visit with everyone, great. Bring a sack for some food donations so that they get those right on Monday. Okay. Joyce was going to think about playing bingo one day. I don't know what it will be like weather-wise, but maybe we can have a morning bingo kind of thing. Figure that out. Okay.
Didn't we do that before?
Yeah, I think, well,
Like bingo in the park?
oh yeah.
It was like we were in
Yeah.
the park when you had it on the TV.
Okay, and then Kathy, I love this, and I want to encourage this. If you guys have an idea of some fun celebration we can have, please tell me. But Kathy came up with, what if we had a back to school party? And so
For your graduating year. I mean, you come dressed.
yeah, and
That's-
I actually was talking to our newest receptionist, Jasmine, and I was telling her about this idea, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be so fun? You could do a yearbook, you could do this and this." And I said, start writing your ideas down. So now that we've planted that seed, start thinking of some ideas of things we can do with that. Kathy we've already got the backdrop for pictures, for school pictures. I'll get a photographer that will come and take a school picture for them that day. But
And we have activities and stuff that.
yeah, some fun activities. We thought maybe Jasmine and I were talking about, what if it was, the best back to school outfit, or I mean, just fun things.
Yeah,
And we
fun.
talked about doing it like whatever your graduating year was. If you have a school sweater and you can wear it, right? And then right after that, the very next week, our next semester of Brilliant University would begin. And these are tentatively the classes. On the right side, those are all for sure classes. On the left, those would be, except the bottom one, that's pretty for sure. Those first four would be the new ones that we would add in. So essential oils with Cindy Workman, fall and winter gardening with Wendy Singh, deep dive into Isaiah with Jim Daniels, and rock hounding with Craig Hewish. Jim Daniels, let me tell you about him. He was a chaplain in the armed forces. He knows about all different religions. And as he asked about teaching this, he's not coming at it from one religious perspective or another. Therefore, I don't think anyone would be offended. He can answer it from just about any religion you can think of. And I think he is actually the perfect person to teach that kind of thing. Once I told him I would love to see a syllabus of exactly what you want to do with this, he was so excited. He must have told someone, and I bet I've had at least a dozen people either ask me personally or call in and say, are you guys the ones doing the Isaiah class?
What is
And
it?
it's not, it's a book in the Bible. So it's not even gonna be till September and they're already so excited about it. So it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And of course, our own Craig Hewish, our own rock hound, is going to be teaching his rock hounding class. Something I do want to add on to this, I have learned that July 29th, we will be taking possession of a brand new bus.
Yay.
That's so exciting. I don't,
I'll believe it when
Not
it's in
to
our
hold the
parking
big witch
garage.
Yeah, really.
actually, I spoke to,
Thing.
Thane last week, and he sent me the email that because he followed up with the guy he's working through, and he said, you are actually right on schedule. This is the date, everything's right on track. So I am super hopeful. I don't know that we'll put the same kind of graphic that we have on ours. That is just a one of a kind, amazing thing. But I think it'll be fun to have something eye catching and that we love. So we'll have a glitter throwing party for that too.
We have to have a CDL, but
I think that one does have to have a
Yep.
CDL, and John
Mhm.
cannot do it anymore, but I have already talked to Lawrence Burton, who used to work for the city and was one of our backup drivers.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm missing you guys so much. And I said, guess what? July 29th, where our new bus is supposed to be here. So we hopefully will have trips planned to go soon thereafter. I'm super excited about
I have
it.
a
It's
question.
a long time coming. Yes.
About the other van that's in the garage now.
Yes.
Is it possible to take the words off of, not Kay's picture, but the words off the other window because you can't see through the words to drive safely? When you're looking through the rear view mirror,
Mhm.
the words are in the way. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but
I've never had a problem with it.
I think it's not very safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will sit in the
But
van
really,
again
and check
and
it
look.
out, check it
Okay.
out. Because if you're changing, I know you have both mirrors.
Right.
I use the rear view mirror too.
Uh-huh.
And if Kay's okay, but to see the whole back there, just
Okay.
check it out.
I thought all of it had dots, so you can, it basically just
Yeah.
really,
It's-
okay,
It's really
Yeah,
kind of distracting,
I will look and see.
but if you would do that for me.
Okay. All right. Any other questions as you look down through that list of upcoming events?
I have one.
Yes.
What's Juneteenth or whatever that day is?
Juneteenth is the end of slavery.
Oh,
And so that is the newest holiday that they're celebrating. And so it's a national holiday, so our center's closed.
okay. Because
They don't
people
do
say,
this.
what is that? And I go, I don't know.
Yeah,
No, it's
I know.
a national
We'll-
holiday.
We'll do some teaching on that.
That'd be a good idea.
Any other questions? Okay, let's have a report from Bryce on any rec updates.
Yeah.
You got 9 minutes, man.
And I'll,
Sorry, I'm
I'll
so
use,
sorry
I'll
that
use
took a long
6.
time.
Well, we spent our time in the exact right spots. First off, just as I come here, I hope too that y'all feel that y'all are the senior advisory commission. You're not the senior center advisory commission. And so as you hear stuff about the other centers or about our parks or about something in the city, please let Gina and I know. We're glad to take that feedback and get it to the right people in the right department in the city, or if it's somewhere else in the rec department. Don't feel limited to what happens in just these walls. And so typically when I'll come here, I can try to provide some of those updates. So a couple of big ones. Just an update on our fitness center. Have any of y'all been over there? Couple? Gina has. Well, you should come check it out.
Where is it at?
It's over on Center Street,
By the high school.
right by the high school. Yeah.
It's amazing. There's an
You know where
adult
Mountain
side
View High
slide.
School is?
Okay, I'll get the information.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to have you over.
I refused to go there because I took the rifle.
They did take the rifle range out.
Listen, but they have an adult size slide. It's better than shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's close.
Well, we've been really excited over there. One thing that has come up with a number of our seniors over there is our 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Leisure pool has been shut down because we don't have enough lifeguards. It is a national issue. They're short about 300,000 lifeguards across the country right now, and we are not immune to it. And so it's tough to get people trained. A number of people use J1 visas to enter the country to do lifeguarding, and so it's really, and they haven't been able to because of COVID and the current political situation. And so a lot of cities are shutting down major pools. We've been lucky that we haven't, both of our pools are open. We've just been limited on our early morning leisure swim, which is typically used by people that want to walk backwards in the lazy river, sort of like an exercise. We're aware of it. We're getting it up and running as quick as we can. It's not personal. It's not long-term. We just upped our lifeguard pay to try to be really competitive, but it's something we're really aware of and will hopefully be over sooner than later. We're also working with the school district right now to try to add some additional accessible parking stalls. They own the parking lot at our fitness center, and so we sort of work and negotiate with them. And so that's something that, again, we'll have like a popular water aerobics class, and it'll have 10 cars that want to all park in accessible parking. We're aware of it. It will be sort of an expensive project because we'll have to probably build other general population parking to swap with the school for accessible parking. But it's something we're aware of. Yeah, accessible or handicap parking. Yep.
Can't they park behind the rec center?
All of
High
that fills
school?
up. All of it
All
is full
behind the
on
high
a
school.
school day it is. And that's why the school district says we need all of these. And we're saying we need a few of them to be accessible, or a few more. There are some, and that's why we'll have to build some more to make for the high school kids so we can then convert the others to accessible parking. So it'll take some time, but we're working on it. Gina mentioned that, we might get a chance to talk or present soon. And I don't know if she realized how soon that was, but our next council meeting, we get a presentation on the Senior Advisory Commission. And so that's on June 14th, 2 weeks from yesterday. Y'all do not need to be there. We would, of course, love to have you if you feel like coming out. I know several of y'all were able to come out a month or two ago, it feels like. And as sometimes council meetings do, they have an agenda of their own, and y'all were there for a few hours. But this one,
Let me see if we can be.
this presentation is
You're-
actually
you're in the
before public comment. And so basically we will say a pledge of allegiance, a prayer, and then the senior commission will present. And so Gina will be the one to do that. It's the staff that will do that. But Joyce, she might work with you to make sure that what is being presented is what y'all would like to see presented. So, and of course, any of y'all as well, but that's in 2 weeks.
At 7?
The 14th
At 7?
at
That's
6
6
p.m.
p.m.
6. Oh, okay. I would have missed it. 6, okay.
And then the sort of the last couple of things I have updated here is we have 2 really exciting parks going on. One is our Heritage Park. It is on 4th West and 4th South. And that will be a new water tank, but it will be a passive recreation park. And so we're hoping that there will be no soccer field or swing sets or anything like that. It'll be more walking trails and gardens and orchards and everything like that. So that's in the pre-design phase right now. They're going to put a big water tank underneath the park. And so it's more of an engineering project right now, but then we get to do the fun part and put a park on top of that when it's done. And so definitely as we get into the design phase of that, we'd love to come to this group. And again, I think a passive park is very different from one that's dominated by, t-ball and soccer and kids. This is definitely much more of a walking nature park. So we're sort of excited. It'll be 6 acres, I think.
Bird watching like that.
I don't think it'll be big enough for birds. I mean, it's a 6 acre park, so it's not massive, but we're pretty excited about what will be going on. And so we'll be bringing that to y'all. And then our Hillcrest Park, which is sort of over by the University Mall, just passed its 30% design. And so that one also has, Dave's not going to let me show the whole video because we're out of time, but I wanted to just show this to y'all really quick so you could get a brief idea of what was going on here. I hope y'all can see that.
This is the one on 14th South.
That sounds about right. Yep, just
The old
across.
Hillcrest
Yes.
Yeah.
Elementary.
And so it'll have some pickleball courts. It'll have a large grass area. It will have some of these playgrounds over here. And I'm going to skip ahead to what I think is my favorite part. But as you come in here to the pickleball, where's my pause? Boom. back in here, again, some passive recreation areas. It has like a plaza and some covered shade area and some seating. It will be attached to a building that will be used, for activities and events and community events and everything like that. And so we're excited to see as this gets closer and closer to being built, how exactly it'll be used. But, again, as we look at some of the really cool events that y'all are doing and the groups that we're bringing in, this might just be something else that we could consider for some of our special events or something like that. So that's all I have to share.
Cool.
Could I ask a question?
Yep.
I took a ride up to the cemetery. My parents are up there.
Yeah.
And I was amazed. They've eliminated that whole soccer field. And I've seen now they've moved graves out into that area.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Probably.
And so did they
Oh.
replace all that square footage of the soccer field that was lost?
They
The landing
did.
for These
Um,
parasailers.
there was the Cascade Golf Course that was there at the mouth of the canyon.
Right.
And that was sold to a private individual, but part of that sale was to leave the lower part to be turned into a city park. And so Palisade Park was built with 3 soccer fields and a splash pad and a playground to replace the cemetery fields, which then went to allow the cemetery to expand.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Great. I've used the splash pad there.
Yep.
where the old
All of that
Cascade-
happened at the same time, and one of those really cool partnerships between the city and a private individual to make it all work. And I think everyone felt like they got what they wanted as opposed to losing something.
Thank you.
Of course.
Dave, do you have anything from the city council you want to pass on?
No, just that, we're willing to serve and to support, and we support the seniors 100%. So
110.
whatever we
Really?
need, we'll make sure it's done. And then we definitely miss Kay, and it was sad that she passed away, but she was a long-term volunteer on this commission. So
Yeah.
she had a lot of spunk and fire. It was good. It was fun.
That's what I want to be.
Yeah, you are. We're gonna have to get you some glittered shoes though.
All right.
All right.
Some big rings.
Does anyone want to move that we,
What about our garage problem?
what about it?
I thought we were gonna talk about our garage problem.
What is the garage problem?
Taking the seats out and some of the other stuff.
Those seats probably won't go until that van goes. They've been there that whole time. It's just that we need to quit storing mattresses in there.
No, we'll store them. We'll get rid of them pretty fast.
Yeah. That's the only problem is that now we're getting things that we weren't getting before, so.
Yeah. Why is the proofer going in there and not staying in the kitchen?
Yeah, why, is there a reason?
You got it.
Space.
I think, yeah, probably just space.
So what are you gonna do?
Because I have like the ovens.
Yeah.
They'll take the place of ones that can't be fixed. Because right now I have one working and 4 down.
Of the
And-
pushers?
The warmers.
But our warmers are actual ovens. That's why we went to the school and
Are
You
you
got
keeping
those.
the proofers?
yes,
Okay.
there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I could really even put them in the kitchen at the end of the table where we set stuff
By
up.
the big mixer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that too. Except you've
Instead
got
of
the
the
racks there.
racks. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is just space right now,
Mhm.
so. Figure it out.
Before, are we almost to the end?
We are at the end.
Okay, I have a thing to pass.
Okay.
This is my, I don't think I have quite enough for everyone. I didn't know that whole end was gonna be here.
We're
You can read.
just decoration over here. Y'all are the important
So if you wanna
people.
Pass this around. This is my thought. This is our kind of our goal for, I have for this group. And it says, do a good deed each day. You will never regret being kind. And then there's a little guy down here and he's looking at this little flower bud. And he goes, come on, buddy, you can do it. So, we need to spread our love
Help everyone bloom.
and help everybody bloom.
Yep.
Because there's some people that just, new people come in, we need to welcome them in.
And they are coming in every day.
And
Every
so
day we have new people. It's just crazy.
sometimes we don't notice that they're new.
And they're all by themselves. I don't like that.
Right.
I
I
think
know.
we need to
Welcome them in,
them
and
and
you all
sit by
do.
'em.
You really do.
But
And
everyone needs to do that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Who would like to move that we adjourn?
I know.
Craig will move that we adjourn. And a second? A treat. Sarah? All right, we're adjourned.
I have a treat.
Thank you. And there's a treat.
You don't make a